Oh, it's been off this whole time, huh?
Yep,
I've been muted. Horrible. I'm so sorry, guys.
So if you can hear us, let us know. We are using a new setup. So we have a new camera, we have new microphones. So please let us know if everything looks clear and if everything sounds clear.
Okay, so going back to what I was saying before you guys were like, what? So we weren't here last week because Chris was having knee surgery. That's why when he was like walking in and I was like, look how good he's walking. And he's like, that always sounds so, what did you call it?
Patronizing.
And I don't mean, and I told him this too, because like,
oh, look, you can sit. Oh, you can stand. You can walk.
He's been doing, okay, you have to understand. So the first week last week was a horrible week. So any like accomplishment that he did that like he could stand really well, or he could get out of bed without me helping him, or like him just walking in general with like crutches or whatever was a big deal because like last week was like a terrible week. So, but I told him, I said, I felt bad because every time I tell him like, look, babe, you're doing so good. You know, you're able to sit right, or you don't have to, you could like sit there with your ankles crossed and like not be a big deal. And he's all, I know you don't mean it that way, but it sounds so patronizing when you say it. And I'm like, I know I don't mean for it. I'm trying to be like supportive and like encouraging, like, you know, but so yeah. But like when he was walking in right now, that's when I was like, look at him go. He's walking all good. And he's like, oh my God. Anyways.
I'm almost up to a full 1 mile per hour, by the way.
He's getting there. He was mad because last week when he was trying to walk without crutches, he said he felt like a toddler, like all wobbly and like unstable and like all crazy. And I'm like, that's okay. You just had knee surgery. You're bound to be all, but yeah. Was it as scary as you thought it would be? So, okay, we'll tell you just a little bit about it. So because of COVID, well, okay, so he has never had surgery before. And so he was really banking on me being in there with him up until like he was sedated and then being there when he woke up. Because as I'm sure you guys can tell, I'm the one who will ask all the questions and make sure everything's done the way it's supposed to, or I'll go all crazy on you. So he was like, I'm like this, you know, safety for him. Well, they were like, due to COVID, I wasn't even allowed in the building. Like it just, they won't allow anybody in there. Like it was, I had to drop him off at the door. The door was locked. And he had to go to the door. They stopped him there, asked him a bunch of COVID questions, checked his temperature and stuff, and then they allowed him in. He was like mortified. Like he was just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So he had me on FaceTime, and all the nurses knew it too. They knew I was there on FaceTime with them, and they were like, hi. And I'm like, hi guys, I have a question. And so it was just, it was one of those things. So they allowed him to stay on FaceTime with me up until like he was walking down like where they were going to, you know, knock him out. So I got off the phone with him and he was like super nervous and I felt bad. And the surgery was like, what? I think it was like 45 minutes. It was quick. His doctor called me. He did great. And I was like, okay, awesome. And then the nurse called me and she's like, he did really good. He's just now kind of coming out of it. She's like, but he was in pain, but we gave him some meds. And, you know, I think she said, give me about 45 minutes and I'll wheel him out to you. I never left the parking lot. I stayed right there. That's my control thing that I got going on. I stayed. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. So he FaceTimes me like 2 minutes later. I'm like, what? So he FaceTimes me and he's like, dude he was so high. He was high. Yeah, he was just like, hey. I'm like, hey.
Why would you tell you that story?
Well, he was just like all crazy, right? But he was like, so he was sweet. You know, like you'll learn a lot about somebody when they're coming out of anesthesia. You learn like secrets. All I learned from him was that he really does love me because he was just like, so like, there you are. And then when they wheeled him out to me. I could see him from there was nobody in the parking lot. It was just me because I'm like this Lone Ranger. I'm like, nope. And they wheel him out and he sees me and he like yells with like the biggest grin on his face. He's like, there she is! And, like all excited. And the nurse just died. She was like laughing. I was like, aw, babe. I was like, you love me. But No, it was good. He did good. And afterwards he was like, okay, it wasn't as bad as what I thought it would be, but yeah. He definitely did really good. Oh,
Yeah, baby.
There's our daughter. So, how are you guys doing? I know. Oh, yeah, my background's all like crazy. Well, one of our dogs is back there. My other one's under my feet. But yeah, how have you guys been doing? I know, like last week we weren't here, so that was like a, you guys been doing good? Go ahead and like let us know in the chat. Today's gonna be more of a Q&A, most of it. So whatever questions you guys have, let us know. It's been a little while, so now's a good time to like, hey, you know what? I've been doing my own thing and I've come across these questions, or I'm curious about this or that or whatever. And we're also going to talk about text signs just briefly, because he just launched a video on YouTube that went over the 10 basic technology signs. So we were doing iPhone and Zoom and Android computers, all kinds, just different stuff like that. But I know a lot of people were commenting saying, hey, I have like other questions, tech related. So feel free to go ahead and like drop those in the chat. Any questions that you guys have, let us know. Because that's kind of what this is going to be, is just more of a open Q&A, just kind of this opportunity for everybody to come back. We did have one question before we even started. Rats. I remember what it was, but
yeah.
It was the difference, like to explain, like, why are you laughing?
Oh, just reading through some of the comments. Like, love the action in the background. Your daughter's so cute. Love her. Debbie's doing great. Good to know.
Awesome. Was the I love you versus this versus
it was the I love you, kiss fist,
love, but there was another one too.
And maybe it was cherish.
I can't remember. Go ahead, because like it blew up in the chat. So go ahead, and if you can, I don't see it. No, it disappeared in the midst of everything.
Sheila saying thank you for hosting the Zooms every week. They're so helpful.
Oh, you're welcome. But yeah, so go ahead.
Here it is. Found it. Kim.
There it is.
Please explain the difference in usage between signs for love, kiss fist, I love you sign, arms crossed. Oh, crossed, yeah.
I inhaled weird. So love. So this one, that kiss fist, this one's a little. How would you describe this?
It's very cultural. It's very much like a deaf thing. So it's a little hard to explain, but like there are differences between using different signs for different semantic meanings with that word. So like love, in English, we use that in very different ways. Saying I love you to a spouse is much different than saying like, hey, I love you guys. Thanks for coming to my speech. Or platonic love and family love and everything like that. Most languages will have different words for different versions of love. And some have like 5 or 6 different words. Like I'm thinking of Italian and Greek, and like there are just many different words for it. But anyways, sign language has different signs for different meanings. So kiss fist is usually something that's kind of like, oh, that's really cool. I really like that. I really enjoyed that. Versus like this is kind of the default sign for love. Like, oh yeah, I really love you. This is a deeper level, like where like I really cherish you. What were some of the other ones? This one is just really casual. This is the ILY. So like the ILY, if you were to type that into like a chat or something, this is just kind of the abbreviation for that. I love you. And this is also very cultural. So a lot of these signs like kiss fist or the I love you is just very deep ingrained into deaf culture.
There's this one, which means I really love you. So it's the R in the middle. Yeah, that's another one. That's there too. Okay, it blew up down there. I just saw it go blew. I'm like, okay, wait. Up. Nope, we got them up here.
Okay.
Question. Wait. Stop. Right here. Question.
Okay.
How do you turn a word into an adjective? For example, help into helpful, is that the same sign? Okay. So like.
Okay, why don't you say a sentence with help and then say a sentence with helpful, and then I'll just go ahead and interpret.
Oh man, I'm not good with improv.
You want me to do it the other way around?
Yes. I
Okay.
can't do improv like that. Like, tell me a sentence.
Hey teacher, I really need your help. Okay. Help. This is like help me.
Like I really need like.
And then helpful, like, oh wow, I really found that video very helpful.
Okay,
so
there you go.
There's that directional sign. So same thing. So like this is help, right? Or sometimes they'll raise it like this, and so you'll see minor variations of that. But then there's the directional sign for help, where I'm going to help you, or that you're going to help me. And so usually, like, oh, I found that really helpful. That helped me. Versus, hey, I need help. And like if you're in danger and you're like, help, I really need it, then it becomes really kind of volatile.
And it's also too, again, it ties back into your facial expressions. So your facial expressions too, a lot of times you can change those words in their meanings as well.
This is a good question. Free the 27 asks, any suggestions on how to learn more on ASL grammar?
I don't do ASL grammar. That's your thing.
So my number one resource for that is going to be Bill Vickers. His website is lifeprint.com. And actually, if you just Google like ASL grammar, one of his articles will be the number one suggestion. And so what I really like about that article is that he's very honest about ASL grammar, and we almost want to assume that there is just one way of grammatically setting up a sentence in any language. But one of the things that he mentions in that article is that, you know, sometimes there's multiple ways of saying things, even in English. We'll do that like, hey, I have a new red car. Let's go take a ride. And then, you know, you could say, hey, let's go take a ride in my brand new red car. You know, and those words are in different orders, but they still mean the same thing. But there is a very, I don't want to say strict, but, you know, there's comment topic. Then there's time, comment, topic. And then there's like subject, object, verb. And there's lots of little nuance to ASL grammar. But that's a great place to start. And he has lots of examples. And he also has just a great explanation on it. It's a little overwhelming if you're brand new to it, but it's a good way to kind of dip your toes into it. I like this question too. How does one build their receptive skills?
Well, there are many different ways to do that, which is a really good question. I like that question too. So a lot of times, people will watch YouTube videos. They'll find like ASL that, ASL Meredith, Sign Duo, Sign with Heart, The Daily Moth. There's Bill Vickers. There's a lot of deaf YouTubers there, and you can watch their videos. And for some, that works. And it's really, and it is really a good way to practice your receptive skills, because that's what you need. You need to take in the signs. Another way too is a practice buddy. So like on Wednesday nights, we hold a group practice session before we go live. That starts at 5. And it's an opportunity for you to practice in real life with somebody. So it's not just, okay, I'm watching this person and they're talking about this, but it's putting your receptive skills to the test in a way that, okay, I asked you a question. Okay, now you're going to respond back to me. And now I got to figure out if I understand what you're saying. Not just, okay, I got this word, I kind of got this word, I kind of got this word when you're watching something on YouTube. But you have to understand this person, because you're going to have to respond back. If they ask you a question, you're like, okay, you're a little more engaged with it when you have that real practice with somebody. Watching YouTube videos is a good way, but you definitely want to have that practice with somebody. Right now, because of COVID, we're doing it via Zoom. So having that practice where you can really watch and have to respond back to somebody's questions, or your reaction to what they're saying is really going to determine if you're understanding them. Another good way too, because one of the questions that we get, because people struggle with a lot, is you're receptive when it comes to somebody fingerspelling, your fingerspelling receptive. People struggle with that. And they're like, why can't I understand when somebody's fingerspelling? I'm going to tell you why. You can fingerspell and you do really, really well, right? You're like, maybe you're like, yeah, I'm a little slow, but I'm okay. But your brain, your eyes are used to seeing it done in this perspective, not this perspective. So when somebody's fingerspelling at you, your brain isn't used to seeing it like this coming at you. You're used to practicing like this and seeing it from this perspective. It makes a difference. So one of the things we tell people is practice fingerspelling in a mirror and fingerspell words and watch yourself in the mirror so your brain and your eyes get used to seeing it from that perspective. Or record yourself, fingerspell 10 words, and then turn around and watch it. And watch yourself. That's going to do two things for you. One, it's going to help with your receptive. But two, it's also going to help make sure that what you're fingerspelling is clear. Because if you don't understand you, nobody else understands you. So if you want to make sure that you're clear, and that's one of the best ways to do that, is to record yourself, watch it, really practice on your own receptive skills, seeing if you understand you. And if you don't, then you know you need to work on your own clarity and making sure that you're clear. But yeah, there are a few ways to do that. Sorry. I'm like, blah, blah, blah.
This is a real quick one. Do famous people or celebrities have sign names? Some, but not all.
Yeah, some of them do, some of them don't. I don't know any of them, really. Well, that's not true. I do know. I do know some.
The only one that pops in my head is like Trump.
That's the one that came to my mind too, but I don't want to go down that road.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, there are some that do have him, but I don't know. I don't really keep up with those. I don't know, but I'm sure that there are, especially like the really like famous people. I'm sure they do have them.
Yeah. There are like some like Washington.
Oh, like George Washington?
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln has like the AL.
Abraham Lincoln.
Or AL.
Yeah.
A lot of them are kind of lexicalized, or they're kind of shortened or abbreviated. Anyway,
oh, that's an interesting question. Is asking someone to sign slower the same as asking someone to talk slower? I like that. I like your thinking with that. So, in a way, yes, because not only would you do that in sign language, I have been learning Spanish for the last 20 years. I say that because like Spanish just doesn't stick in my brain. But when I was learning Spanish, I would ask them to speak slower, because if any of you speak Spanish or know people who do, sometimes they'll just go, man, kind of like how I do in English. So vice versa, if they were learning English and I'm going 100 miles an hour and they're like, do you mind slowing down? So in a way, yeah, kind of, but it's not rude. So I don't want you to think like if I ask like, hey, do you mind slowing down, if it's considered a rude thing, because it's not. It's just, it helps you better understand them, which is far better than doing the and you have no idea what they're saying. That's rude. And they'll call you out on that, to be like, you don't understand me. It's like, yeah, it's one of those things. So you're better off just saying, hey, I'm so sorry. Do you mind slowing down just a little bit? Because I don't understand. That is so much better. So yeah, it is, yeah.
Months, are they fingerspelled?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, this one's a little tricky because typically it's just the first 3 letters of each month, but there are some exceptions. Like so you have January, February, March. Usually it's spelled out all the way. April is usually spelled out all the way. May is only 3 letters, so you're good there. June is spelled out all the way. July. So is July.
But August isn't.
August is usually AUG. September is either SEP. Some will do SEPT.
I do the T.
And some will do September.
Yeah,
this is also
September.
Also the same sign for fall.
Yeah.
Because September is the beginning of fall. October, 3 letters. November.
Hey, nobody's talking to you.
And December. if you ever learned LSM or a Spanish sign language, or sorry, lenguaje de señas de mexicanos or something like that. Anyways, Mexican sign language. I like theirs because theirs is like, E, and so like this is calendar, right? But like E for enero goes across, F for febrero, and then it goes through marzo and then through all the rest of the
20
months.
years he said that, and I went, what does that mean? Oh, but yeah. Go up because there's still some up there too that were a lot.
Okay.
Here we go.
This is kind of up my alley. How many times should I practice the new signs I learned so I don't forget them?
You're the teacher.
Okay, so this will depend on you, but typically what you'll want to do is use spaced repetition. And I encourage you to go ahead and look that up, or maybe just give it a quick Google. But in a nutshell, what spaced repetition basically is when you learn something new, review it a lot when you first learn it, and you review it less and less over time. And so there are systems that you can kind of put in place. A good rule of thumb is 3-3-3. So let's say you learned 5 new signs today. Try to review those same signs at least 3 times the first day. And then try to review them 3 times the first week. And then review them 3 times in the first month. And you see how that review process kind of gets farther and farther apart. And basically what that's doing is it's moving that memory or that ability to recall that new information, going from your short-term memory to your mid-term memory and eventually to your long-term memory. And so that's kind of a good rule of thumb to follow. It can be really tough and you don't have to be super exact. But as a rule of thumb, if you recently learned it, review it a lot first and then review it less and less as time goes on. Mm-hmm. Okay. You see any other questions that kind of jump out at you?
No, go down. Okay. Somebody asked, what is the difference between...
Sorry, I like this one. Is it hard to tell when somebody's being sarcastic in ASL? And how would you show it being sarcastic? Oh, it's in the face.
Very clear if they're being sarcastic to you, let me tell you. Or if I'm going to sign and I'm going to be sarcastic while I do it, you're going to know. Because it sits right here. It's not here. It's not here at all. It's right here because, man, it's like, okay, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. When I'm being sarcastic in my tone of voice with you, you'll know. You'll know because it's right here. It's my tone. Then like, da-da-da, right here. Same. The deaf do that right here. This is their tone. This is their tone of voice. Anything they're mad, happy, sad, whatever, they're going to be sarcastic right here. So they're just they'll sign something to you, and it can be just as simple as improv. I'm not good at it. What's a sarcastic remark?
Okay, so recently I was using the example of like just signing okay.
Oh yeah.
And so like oh yeah, okay, yeah, I understand or whatever. Okay. Or like if you have like a teenager and they're like, okay, it's really obvious on their face. And so like you could hear it in the voice, but if you're signing it, you can really see it on the face. That.
Yeah, they'll kind of, yeah, you'll see it. You'll know, don't worry.
Oh, interesting. Holly Allen was saying, I learned the months the calendar way. So like,
very cool.
Like enero or febrero.
There it is. What is the difference between ASL and ESL?
Where do you see that? Oh, there. Way up here. Okay. So ESL can be tricky. So many may not know that there are many sign languages. A sign language is not universal. So sometimes ESL, let me know if this is what you mean, but some are referring to it as English Sign Language or British Sign Language. British Sign Language. So like there are very key differences between different sign languages. And one example being like the alphabet. In BSL, British Sign Language, the vowels are all done on the fingers. So this is A, E, I, O, U. But in ASL, you have actual signs for each individual letter. You have A, E, I, O, U. So that's one difference. And so And ESL can also, some people may confuse it with signed exact English. And if you're watching from the UK or England, there's version of that is signed supported English, SSE. And in America, it's reference to SEE, signed exact English. So that's more transliterative. It's more word for word. And so there are different sign languages, and then there's also subsets within that language. So there's, like in the United States, there's usually ASL.
Stop talking. Somebody says we lost you.
Lost you?
So.
Let me know. Is it an audio issue? Can you hear us, or let me know.
I'm like, stop talking.
It looks like everything's fine on our end.
I'm good.
I'm good. Okay.
Okay. You're
still here.
Okay,
I can see you. Okay.
I'm like, wait.
That's what we get for trying something new.
But
hopefully everything looks like everything looks a lot better.
Yeah.
We got a nice
light
box right there, which that just came in earlier today. So I think that looks really good. You want to see what it looks like without it? Ooh.
Oh.
Better.
Okay, anyways.
Let there be light.
Keep going.
Okay, so anyway, so like subset. So in America, there's predominantly ASL, but there are subsystems to that. So there are like Pidgin Signed English, PSE, or there's more transliterative languages as well, like C sign. And there's that in itself is also a subset of manually coded English. So that's definitely a big rabbit hole you can jump down into as far as like what different sign languages are. But typically you'll have a sign language per country. Like Australia has Australian Sign Language, France has French Sign Language, Germany has German Sign Language, and so on and so forth. But there can be overlap. Like ASL is sometimes used in other countries besides the United States.
Okay. Question. Signing, is it wrong to sign English, I believe is what you call it, or is it interpreted sign to ASL when which is appropriate to which? Okay, so are you referring to like signing, kind of like what Chris was talking about, like signing English versus signing an ASL grammar?
Okay, I need to go to the, let me get rid of that. I need to go to the store to buy some like milk. That would be like very English or Pidgin Sign Language. Yeah. You could add one more later to that and say like I need to go to the store and buy some milk. That's signed exact English.
Yeah.
In ASL, like store, I need go. Why?
No, that's fine.
Or you could sign that a few different ways.
But
that's kind of the gist of it.
If this is kind of so this is kind of where I'm gonna just throw this out there. When it comes to sign language, there is more than one way to do it. And a lot of times we get stuck, especially when we're first learning, that it is one way or the highway. And that is very inaccurate because no deaf person signs the same way, just like no hearing person talks the same way. There's a difference between the way me and him talk, as I'm sure you can tell. There's a difference between how we talk in California versus how somebody would talk in New York or Chicago or in Texas. There's a difference in how people talk. There's different terms that you'll use. When I was in New York, somebody asked if I wanted pie, and I was like, no, I'm not really a pie eater. And my friend was like, dude, they mean pizza. And I'm like, well, then just say pizza. Why'd you say pie? But there's different terms, like there's a lot of things like how they would say it in New York versus in California or wherever you are that are different. Well, sign language is the exact same way. So you'll meet a deaf person who signs ASL. Bam, legit. But you're going to meet a deaf person who's also going to sign C sign. That I need to go to the store. You're going to find people like that. You're going to find deaf who sign that way. You're going to find deaf who say, hey, I need to go to the store. More PSE, Pidgin Sign Language. And so there's this variant there in sign language. So don't ever feel like if you're not doing it specifically in one way, it means you're wrong. No. it's good to have that flexibility and that ability to balance and kind of shift around to better interact with the deaf in your area. So, like, for example, where we're from, they're very ASL. But when we moved to Central California, they're very English. So there's this difference. There's this flexibility that we had to have for ourselves, especially professionally for work. Because when I came here signing ASL as an interpreter, and I was strict ASL, my client didn't understand a word I said. So it did me no good to be strictly ASL and be like hard-nosed about it because my deaf client couldn't understand me. So I had to learn to adapt and be moldable, and that's okay. So you can sign however best matches you to whatever best matches your community, to the deaf in your area. Be moldable and be flexible to best match them, because all that matters is that they understand you. Because if they don't understand you, then what's the point? That's kind of what I tell a lot of people. It's like, it's good if you understand you, but if they don't understand you, then what are you doing? Then why do it? You know? So yeah, definitely just be flexible, be moldable to best match them.
Okay, I want to get to Debbie really quick.
Okay.
She's been asking all night, what is a sign for gymnastics?
I don't have the answer to that question.
So typically, typically it's fingerspelled. And like when I interpret for high schools and colleges and stuff like that. That's weird. We froze a little bit on the computer. But yeah, typically most will fingerspell it. That's including a deaf interpreter that I worked with for a couple years. But some may have an individual sign for it. And I tell you what, let's do a quick search.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I like that question. While you looked at it.
Okay, so looks like Bill Vickers has a quick video.
Oh, I like that. Gymnastics. Here's the bar. Here's your person.
Yeah.
Woo! Gymnastics.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's this way.
So it's.
Oh, it starts like
palm
this.
out and then it ends palm in.
Gymnastics. I like that sign. That's cool. Woo! I feel like I'm like flipping somebody off if I do it fast enough. Be careful, guys.
Yeah, Taylor is saying that ing has its own sign and C sign. So yeah, ing. You just kind of flip out your
Shopping.
I.
Shopping.
Just kind of as a disclaimer, C sign was mostly developed through oral schools in the 60s and 70s. And like some deaf really looked down on it because they were forced to learn English and they were forced to vocalize this language that they couldn't hear. And they were almost punished for signing and communicating with other deaf. Many have a kind of a bad taste in their mouth from C sign. So just kind of a forewarning that if you are going to be learning sign language, particularly ASL, try to go ahead and learn as much on the ASL side of the spectrum as possible. Again, in your community, there might be more PSE, but C sign is kind of I don't want to say dying, but it's definitely not used nearly as it was 30 or 40 years ago.
Hand. 40 years ago. Wait, there was a question.
Let's see here.
Oh, I lost my question.
Debbie, oh my God, thank you so much. I do gymnastics and I wanted to know the sign. Well, thanks for asking. We're constantly having to add to our lexicon too.
There it is.
Up here?
That one. If I'm texting a deaf person, would it be rude to try to use ASL grammar?
That's a good question.
It is a good question. And I would say it depends on who you're talking to. Because for some, okay, let me tell you this. See how they text you. What does it look like? What are they doing? What's their grammar structure kind of like? And then try to mimic what they do. There are some deaf who will text you in like perfect English grammar. I wouldn't do ASL grammar back to them. I would do it in English grammar. But it definitely depends on who you talk to. There's no one right way. Each deaf person is different. Some of them are like spot on, but I've had clients who I've had to text that I had to simplify it and do it in a very ASL grammar way. just so like they read it how I would sign it type of thing. But that kind of depends on who it is that you're talking to. Where did it go? Up. Go up.
Up.
Where did it go?
How do you sign "Are you okay?" in sign?
Oh, so there's 2 ways to do it. You okay? You would just point you okay? Like, hey, you going to, or you can sign, are you all right? You all right? All right. That's a sign you can do. You all right? Not to be compared with my rights. Yeah. Rights versus all right. It bounces. So yeah, there's a few ways you can do it.
How much ASL do we need to know to join the practice sessions on Wednesdays?
None.
I'm just starting to learn.
You don't have to know hardly anything. We have a wide variety of skill levels. If you know your alphabet and your numbers and you can kind of sort of finger spell, that's great. It's open for everybody. It's an opportunity for everybody to feel comfortable and to feel safe in a place that you can practice and not worry about being judged or like, I'm not getting it right. People, they're not going to understand me. It's fine. A lot of people, we've been doing this. A lot of people in our group, we've been with for almost a year. We've been doing this since April of last year when COVID took off. And so everybody in our group, they're super amazing. They're so awesome. I love everybody in there. They're very supportive, very encouraging, and have all been there. They've all been brand new. And it's just been, it's an amazing group. So if you don't know hardly anything, that's okay, because you're going to really progress by getting that practice. I wouldn't say one-on-one because it's more like a group of you. Like sometimes there's like 2, 3, 4 in a group. So yeah.
Zakira Torres, the practice sessions are the best. Thank you so much for setting them up.
You're welcome. Yeah. Any suggestions on how to read finger spelling phonetically? That's on you.
Okay. So yeah, this is one of the things it's a little more of an advanced thing because when you're first starting, like you're finger spelling cat and you're voicing like, okay, C, A, T. But eventually, when you finger spell it, you're going to do cat, and your mouth cat, not as CAT. And so that helps the other person kind of connect the word that you're finger spelling. Another thing is that when you finger spell like multiple syllables, it helps to phonetically keep up. And let's say, I don't know, biology.
Man.
So biology.
I know you're gonna do it. If he does like a word that I don't know how to spell, I'll be mad.
I know, a couple weeks ago, I threw out like mitochondria.
Oh, I was mad. Mitochondria. I'm like, why do you hate me? But yeah, biology. There we go.
And so
I got street smart.
You can, and in the beginning, you don't have to worry too much about the phonetics. That is something that comes later, and it comes with practice and in time. And again, like going to those types of group sessions, or even if you can find somebody to practice with one-on-one, there's really no substitute. Like if you want to become better at conversations, you need to have conversations. And so we're very privileged to be able to host those weekly practice sessions every week. And it's been amazing to see the kind of progress, especially the ones that have been doing it since we started last year. The progress that they have has been amazing, like from brand new to advanced, like in a year, because they're just constantly kind of putting themselves outside of their comfort zones and, being okay with making mistakes and opening up and making these networks. And so we really encourage anybody that would like to go ahead and take advantage of those group sessions that we host. They're free to join. We send out the Zoom link via our newsletter. So if you would like to join us next week, you can go ahead and sign up for them for free. We have a link in the description area down below on YouTube, or you can find the link on our website, aslbasics.com.
Felt a disturbance.
Y'all are the best. Love watching y'all.
Thank you.
Taylor is saying, I love meeting new people in the practice groups. And yeah, the cool thing too about those is that some deaf instructors and tutors have been reaching out to me, and they send their students over to our sessions too. So I'm hoping there's one, Gregor Lopez, and he's a deaf instructor that grew up or was born in Brazil, and then he moved to the States later in life. But he teaches ASL and tutors ASL as well. So I'm hoping that he might actually join us next week. So that'd be great if he can join us. Linda's asking, did we lose the feed? Let us know if anyone else is having issues.
Yeah, let us know, because I've noticed a few people. It froze for a little bit, but it's still going, from what I can tell. See, somebody else just said, yeah, same here too.
I didn't lose mine. I'll have to.
That's interesting. I wonder what. That's precarious.
No, I could
when are the
go
sessions
back.
again? Oh, so the group practice sessions are Wednesday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific, and then whatever it is where you live, because I'm not gonna. Is there a minimum age requirement for the practice sessions? Okay, so we have a wide variety of age groups there. However, if you are a minor, we do recommend that you're an adult, that an adult be near you, know what you're doing. Like I said, we try to make this a very safe environment to the best of our ability. That we have a lot of safety measures in place with it. People cannot private chat to each other. That is a disabled feature. And typically, like I said, we've kind of gotten to know most of the people in the group. So if there is an issue, people have come forward with us and told us, so that way we can handle and rectify these issues. But we have young kids who join. Their parents are typically with them. So there's no minimum age requirement, but we do just suggest that if you are a minor, you let your parents know what you are doing. Because like I said, we can't control everything that happens. But we try our best to make it as safe as possible as we can for people to join.
Okay, I was actually just going to mention this. Did you do the giveaway yet?
Oh, yeah.
So we didn't even mention the giveaway.
Sorry, guys. Oh, man. So the giveaway is going to be the free one-on-one session with either myself or Chris. I'll tell you, most people pick Chris. I'm going to tell you why, which, trust me, it's fine. Is because when it comes to sign language, he's the one who's more, he teaches it more. He has more of the knowledge behind learning and things. It's kind of like when he studied linguistics, he studied all of that, went to college for it. So that's kind of his thing. Me, I can provide you with information and knowledge, especially when it comes to interpreting, because that's my profession. That's kind of what I do. Like, here's information that I'll give you. However, if you're wanting somebody to teach you things, or even I don't have the words for what it is that he does, that's him. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you win, or if you win in the future, what you're going to get. So with him, you're going to get that knowledge that he has. So he will teach you how to learn not just sign language, but how to learn any language, tips and tricks. You hear him talk with his fancy words. They're fancy words and you know it. So yeah, if you're wanting that, you're going to get that from him. Me, like I said, I provide you with knowledge, like this is what you need to know. But as far as teaching, that's not my thing. So just letting you guys know when you have a choice you have that option. So
Felicia Woods just became a supporter. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Okay. Do the children have a separate group to practice with? No, they don't, because the children that we have are with their parent, and so they just kind of go with the group. We don't have enough children to create something like that. Yeah, not yet. Okay, let's see here. Oh, thank you.
That should be our new name, the Awesome Duo.
The Awesome Duo. Okay, so here we go. So the giveaway. Okay. Did you want to?
Well, you go and we'll kind of do a more randomized thing. So we just pick somebody at random in the comments. So like the more you comment, the higher possibility you will have at winning it. Just a tip there for y'all. So while we go through and find somebody at random, I'll just give you a quick preview of what we're going to be doing going forward. So this year, I'm going to try really hard to do 3 videos a week for the channel. On Mondays, I'm going to post like a basic, like a video about sign language or vocabulary or language learning or habit building and stuff like that. Wednesdays, I'm going to we'll be doing live streams every Wednesday following the practice sessions that we do. And then on Fridays, I'm going to try really hard to do some type of receptive video. So typically they're like fingerspelling receptive videos. So I have one coming out this Friday. And then I also have a video set up to launch on Monday. And then Wednesday we'll have the live stream. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, that's a great way to kind of get notified when new videos come out. I see Debbie, was that a super chat?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. And again, like a lot of what we do wouldn't be possible without your support. And with your support, we've been able to host these free practice sessions and make them available to anybody that is interested in joining. And we've been able to do about 40 or 50 of them up until this point, and to be able to produce videos and to try to up the quality of the videos. These live streams are tricky. We try to make things as the best of experience as possible. So again, with your support, we're able to improve the quality and the quantity and everything else like that. Did you fix them?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so it's in the comments. Congratulations to April Nut or Newt.
Names are hard.
They are hard. Thank you. We have another member. Thank you very much. And so April, if you're still here, just let us know. Send me an email. And my email address is, let's see,
we'll wait a couple of minutes. Yeah, let us know in the chat.
Yeah, first of all, let us know you're here. Oh, there it is. So if you're here, just let us know, and then you can send us an email at chris@aslbasics.com, and we'll go ahead and send you over the link to where you can schedule a free one-on-one session with either myself or with Johnny.
Oh, there she is. It is not. Yeah, you said it right.
Okay.
She said yeah. Awesome. So yeah, go ahead and just leave or send him an email, and he'll get that all set up for you guys.
And it looks like we have more super chats coming in. Thank you, JD Olich. Thank you guys for your videos.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh, one of the things too that we are going to be doing soon, well, I say soon, but it's going to be in February, is a lot of people have been requesting when is our next boot camp going to be that we do, and that's going to be in February. He's still creating the content and making everything. It's kind of a process. But we're hoping to announce the dates for that in February soon. And it'll be a 7-day boot camp again. It'll have a different name because we've already done a 7-day boot camp. But it'll be a Monday through Friday. And then Monday, Tuesday. We kind of don't do the weekends. We nix the weekends out because that's everybody's, family time. That's their own alone time because, everybody works. The weekends are like chill. But we are going to be doing that soon. So in February. But yeah, so that's just going to be a 7-day, and what those look like, I'll just kind of let you know what those are. Is it's a group practice session every day of every evening of the week. And then afterwards it's a live Q&A, and kind of like where he has a topic that he's going to discuss, whether it's grammar, learning tactics. Again, see, I'm not the teacher. What do you talk about? I don't teach it. he does.
Yeah, what we tend to do in those courses is that they include a lot of different aspects, and so we'll go day 1, day 2, day 3, and so we try to make it as accommodatable to as many people as possible. So if you're brand new to the language, you'll have a similar experience to somebody that has been trying to learn it for like a year or two. And so basically, we'll provide you with a variety of resources based usually around a subject. So like our weekly group practice sessions, we'll do this as well, where like this, the group session that we had just before this live stream was all about technology. And so we had a video that kind of goes over some basic technology videos. And then we also have other resources from other instructors that go through similar terms. So everybody will learn like one subject throughout the day. I'll usually give them a challenge to kind of put into use what they've been learning. And then in the evening, we'll do a group practice session together. And after that, we'll be doing like a kind of a really short lecture, maybe 15, 20 minutes about learning how to make it more effective, how to become fluent faster, and kind of leave things open after that for like open Q&As, and we'll be available to answer any questions that you might have.
And those are live on Zoom, so yeah, we can see you and you can see us type thing. It's not just like this. So that's kind of, a lot of people like that better because then we can actually talk to you instead of in a chat setting. So yeah, that's something that's going to be launched in February. We should know, what's the date today? 13th.
It'll probably be towards late.
It'll be late February. Probably by the end of January. What's
the last week of February?
Well, no, I'm trying to go. We'll probably launch the date
by
February 20. I mean, by January 27th, in 2 weeks, the end of January. That's when we'll launch the official date, and then it'll be a month open, giving everybody the opportunity to sign up for it and everything. So, here we go. What will be the time of day for the boot camp? So that usually will start again like at 5. It'll start at 5:00 p.m. Pacific time, and then you'll have 30 minutes of practice, and then about 45 minutes to an hour of us talking with you guys. What's the matter?
Oh, it's funny because like when the comments go in really quick and I go to unclick it to undisplay the comment,
yeah,
it moves on me, and so I end up clicking the comment underneath it, and it just pops up.
This one.
Oh, sorry, I'm gonna get rid of that.
That one.
This one?
That's the one. Is it okay to join the group session if I'm not able to sign almost anything? I just started diving into the world based. So yes, so that's totally fine. Like
right on time. Mommy. Hey, baby.
Mommy. Yes. So we have
cake pop. I want red cake pop.
You want a red cake pop?
I'll be back.
Okay. So let's see here. I think that's pretty much it for this week. So I am developing more videos for the channel. So let me know what you would be interested in watching in the future. So I do have some content planned up for the next 3 or 4 weeks. But after that, I'm willing to take your suggestions and recommendations on any kind of topics. So like beyond maybe just vocabulary, like what would you like to learn as far as how to be a more effective learner, how to remember more of what you learned, forget less, or how to become more involved in the community, how to build better habits. Let me know what kind of things that you would like to, or what kind of things you'd be interested in learning next. And then I can go ahead and start developing that kind of content for February, in addition to the boot camp and everything like that. And any last questions before we end it tonight? Looks like we're at 55 minutes. And so if you have any additional questions, now's the time. And if not, just let's see here. I'm just going to go through the comments one more time.
I'm back.
Sign for signature.
Sign.
Oh, yeah. Diane was saying she couldn't get in until 8:28. So we will, like those Zoom practice sessions, we will lock after about 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Just to kind of keep them safe and secure, so nobody can just kind of Zoom bomb it later in.
Which is a real thing, by the way.
Yeah, which is why we had to we try to keep those sessions as safe and secure as possible. How do you sign your age?
So
Okay.
like you would just say like my age, 29. Ooh, threw myself out there. His age, 35. Ooh, threw you out there too.
Wow.
I'll be 30 this year.
Oh, okay. This is a really good question. So Tashel's Bakes was asking facial expressions. How do you develop the skill while focusing on learning ASL?
Well, so I'm kind of like a big push when it comes to facial expressions because that is God. Facial expressions are like one of the most important things for you to learn when it comes to sign language, because if you're stonewall and you're signing, I have no idea what you're saying.
You're like really like insane.
I know, right? I have no idea what you're saying. You know, like, are you happy? Are you sad? For me, facial expressions came natural. I'm a very outgoing person anyways, and a lot of things I do are in my face. So if I'm happy, you see it. If I'm mad, you're going to know about it. If I'm annoyed, whatever, you're just going to tell. It took him, though, a little bit longer to develop that skill because he's not like that. Chris is always like this. He's right here. He doesn't change. Not like that. I see you. But he's very just, in his personality, he's very even. Me, I'm all over the map, as you can tell. He's not like that. He's very chill. So his facial expressions, he was very just chill, like that. Just very like whatever. He had to learn to develop those skills. The earlier you learn those skills, the better it's going to be for you. So what I try to tell people to do, you're going to feel weird when you do it, but Google it online. There's like it's like emotions, or I think you can Google like emotions or something.
Like that poster? And
it's a poster of like different facial expressions, right? You've probably seen them. They have them at the schools or whatever. You've seen them in doctors' offices too, where you can see like the pain scale and like little sad faces. Find that, and I want you to sit on your hands, especially if you're like me and you're like all over the place. And I want you to read those words, and I want you to make the face of the word. So if it's angry, make an angry face. If it's annoyed, make an annoyed face. If it's like scared, make a scared face. You know, do all these, practice doing, get your face, your muscles used to it. If you feel uncomfortable, you're doing it right. Because a lot of times, like, I like, for example, if I'm going to sign it like this, where I'm like, in my story, I'm like, oh my God, and I was so scared. I can't even do it without keeping my face in there. Like, oh my God, I was so scared. And in my face, I'm like this. I was so scared. That is not scared. But to you, you might be like, I'm doing it. I'm scared. Okay. You're in your comfort zone. We're going to have to break out of that a little bit. Where it to be like, I was so like, scared. Now you might be like, I'm not going to make that face. Why would I make that face? Because you're emphasizing your point. So practice like, because a lot of people are like, well, isn't like my facial expressions going to be too like dramatic? It's emphasizing your point. And that's a good thing. You want your point. You want what you're saying to be clear. Your tone, again, is right here in your face. So practice doing those facial expressions. Don't sign, just practice making those faces. Try not to overthink when you're talking to somebody. You'll naturally have expressions. But what happens is we get stuck when we're so focused here and we're like, okay, what am I going to say? How am I going to say this? Okay, this is what I'm going to say. Like, okay, how? Yeah, it's how. Are you? Do I point? Yeah, I point. Yeah, okay. See? You see what I'm doing there? Where I'm like, Just relax. You know what you want to say. You know what you want to say. It's okay. So you just ask. are you? I'm fine. And just allow those facial expressions that we naturally have to come through. And sometimes you're going to have to practice a little more if you're naturally very non-facial energetic, but it will come with time. It's not something that you're going to learn overnight. It's something you are going to have to practice. Practice signing in the mirror. Watch yourself. Record yourself telling a story. Like, oh yeah, and then this happened to me, and da 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 da, and then go back and watch it. Did you have facial expressions? Were they there? Could you improve? You know, like really look at yourself and see, okay, yeah, like I could have done better in this area. I could have been a little more dramatic here. I could have been a little more shocked in this one. And that's really going to help you.
Okay, we're at 1 hour, 1 minute.
Uh-oh.
Monospace, monotone. It reminded me of the font. LOL. I always thought. Okay. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. We really enjoyed answering as many questions as we possibly could tonight. And we will be doing another live stream next Wednesday. And if you would be interested in joining our free Zoom practice session, go ahead and sign up for our newsletters, and we'll send out that Zoom link to you directly. And
do they know how to do that?
Link in the description down below.
Oh, okay. For the newsletters, there's a link down there. You just sign up for it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, check. And if you go down into that description, we also listed a ton of resources that can be really valuable, including like some Instagram accounts that you can follow, YouTube channels, movies and TV shows and stuff of that nature. Games, ASL games. A lot of people enjoy that, like crossword searches and Scrabble tiles and stuff like that.
I'm answering a question.
What do you answer?
Because it's funny. If you want to sign "you get on my nerves," what did you sign? You and then annoyed. I'm like, yeah, you're good. Yeah, I was like, that's funny. Like, you, or like, yeah, you annoy me. Yeah, yeah, you could. So
Debbie says thank you so much. April says thank you. Much love, you guys, and thank you everybody for joining this evening. We look forward to seeing you next week in the Zoom practice session and in the live stream. And yeah, stay in touch. If you have any further questions, you can feel free to reach out to us on social media at ASL Basics, or you can email me directly at chris@aslbasics.com. And until next time,
at aslbasics.com.
Okay, and until next time, we'll see you later. And take care, stay well, and keep on learning.
Have fun at physical therapy. It was said. He'll do good. He has physical therapy tomorrow.
Tomorrow, actually.
He'll do good. You'll do good. They asked if I was going to be there, and I said yeah. And so they're like, oh, good. I'm like, I know. See, I get to be with you in something. So, okay, guys, enjoy your night.
Bye.
Bye, Daddy. That's my dad. Bye, Daddy.